Good morning, Math 2 students. This is Mr. Flynn. For our notes for April 29th, I'm using the exact same note sheet that we've been using. I've just added on to it. So the last thing we ended with was starting with the forms of the quadratics. And we started with standard form. And that was at ax squared plus bx plus c. You had to identify the a, the b, and the c, and we used those to help find our y-intercept, okay? Let us know if it was concave up or down, which would let us know then if it had a maximum or a minimum point. Then we used the a and b to help find the axis of symmetry, using that x equals negative b over 2a. And then once we know the axis of symmetry, we also knew then, let's see here, we knew the vertex, then we were able to find the vertex. So there's a little work involved, obviously, but if you followed along, you did well. Today, we're going to the last form, which is called vertex form. Oh yeah, and the other form they had up here that we didn't really mention so much of is factored form. And that's because just when you take a standard form and you factor it, now it's in factored form, and that helps us find our roots or the solutions or the zeros, or which is the x-intercepts, right? So what we're going to do is actually use what's called vertex form. And in this form, we can actually identify the vertex right away. All right, so that's this f of x. I'm going to write a little bigger. F of x equals a times the quantity x minus h squared plus k. The a tells us if it is positive, it concaves up. And we know if a parabola concaves up, if it opens up, that it has a minimum point. If the a is a negative number, it concaves down, and it has a maximum point right away. So that's one thing we can see, okay? The other thing is this h and this k tell us the vertex. Now notice the h, it says minus h in here. So anytime we ever take the h out, we always take the opposite of it. And the k says plus k, so we always take the k. So really, we can find the vertex by just hk, that point. You're done. And so a couple things. If we know the vertex, I'll show you, we can pick out the axis of symmetry real quick. And then we'll do some algebra to find everything else, okay? So with that example and those notes, and this is really it. This is all you have to memorize. The tough part is knowing that the h is always the opposite of what's ever inside the parentheses, okay? So here, like, look at example number 1. We have the function x minus 2 quantity squared plus 9. There's no a, so the a must be equal to 1. That means it's positive. That means it opens up. All right, so it's concave up, and that means it has a minimum point. We know that right away just by looking at this function. So let's say concave up, minimum point. We got it. The other thing is we need to find the h and the k. Now remember, the h, we always do the opposite. So it says negative or minus 2, so we take positive 2. The k, we do the exact same what it says. It is minus 9, so it's negative 9. So the vertex is 2, negative 9. So we can put that in. 2, negative 9. If you know the vertex, the x value, that's the axis of symmetry. All right, so we found 4 of the 6 things we need to find just by looking at it without doing any math work, okay? The key is knowing the h, always find the opposite of the h, okay? So now to do the y-intercept and the roots, we got to do a little algebra work. So what we're going to do, and I'll clean this here up, is we're actually going to take this and multiply it out and then simplify everything. So this becomes x minus 2 times x minus 2, because that's what x minus 2 squared means, minus the 9. So this part here, and I'll use a different color, This part here is your FOIL. Okay, or you can stack it, right? And F meaning first terms, x times x is x squared. O is the outer term, so this x and this -2 is -2. The inner terms, this -2 and this x is -2x, -2x. And the last terms is -2 times -2 is -9. Okay? Or excuse me, what am I doing here? Negative or +4. Okay? So that's this part up here, and don't forget the -9. Okay? So let's clean this up. Collect like terms. I can collect these two. I can collect these two. So now I have a quadratic, and we know the y-intercept is right there. Okay? It's the c. So now we're in the ax squared plus bx plus c. So that's the y-intercept, which is 0, -5. So we can put that in there, 0, -5. And now all we have to do is factor this and find the roots, okay? So we have a 1 and a 5. So give me another color here. Let's do blue. 1 times 5 is 5. The factors are 1 and 5. The signs are different. The largest one is negative. That's the only pair. It should equal to -4. So I have x plus 1, x minus 5. Set this equal to 0. And now solve. X plus 1 equals 0. X equals -1. Set that equal. X minus 5 equals 0. X equals 5. So my roots are 5 and -1. If they want them in coordinates, it would be 5, 0, and -1, 0. There you go. Okay? So 4 of the things we just look at and we can see. 1, we do some algebra and we can see, and then we factor and we can see. Okay? So we're putting it all together. So here we go. All right, what's our A value? The A value is here. So the A is 1. It's positive. So it opens up and minimum. So let's put that in. Up, minimum. Pretty quick. Okay? Then we know the H is the opposite of this. The K is equal to that. So the vertex is -3, -1. Right away. -3, -1. Okay? If we know the vertex, then the axis of symmetry is right there. So we got the 4 things we know quickly. Okay? So now, clean this up. Let's multiply it out. X plus 3 times x plus 3 minus 1. So this becomes x squared plus 3x plus 3x plus 9 minus 1. And that becomes x squared plus 6x plus 8. So we know the y-intercept excuse me, is 0, 8. 0, 8. Let's put that in there. And now we take this quadratic, we set it equal to 0, and we factor. 0 equals. It's 1 times 8 is 8. The factors are 1 and 8, 2 and 4. And they're both positive. How did I know? I'm going kind of quick here, but let me clean up some stuff. The last term is positive, so they're both the same. The middle term is positive, so they're both positive. So this becomes, let's see which 2 add together to give me +6 right here. 0 equals x plus 2, x plus 4, and set each one equal to 0 and solve. X plus 2 equals 0, x equals negative 2, x plus 4 equals 0, x equals negative 4. So my roots are negative 2 and negative 4, or negative 2, 0, and negative 4, 0. Okay? So we'll move on to example number 3. All right, what do we see right away? We know that the a value is positive 1 because it's not there. So we know that it opens up and there's a minimum. We can see the h is negative 1, so we take the opposite of h, which is h equals 1. The k is 9, or negative 9. So we know that the vertex is 1, negative 9. If you know the vertex, the x value is the axis of symmetry. Okay? So the 4 things we do real quick: x concave up, concave down, max or minimum, vertex, and from the vertex we have the axis of symmetry. Now we have to find the y-intercept and the roots. So let's multiply this out. We got x minus 1 times x minus 1 minus 9. So this becomes x squared minus x plus 1 minus 9. Okay? Simplify. X squared minus 2x minus 8. Okay? So right away we know that the y-intercept is 0, negative 8. Okay? Now we set this equal to 0, and we factor. 1 times 8 is 8. That's 1 and 8, 2 and 4. Now, it looks like I have a little mistake on here. Let me see. Nope, it'll work out good. Okay? So the signs are different. The large one's negative. And I get the 2 that equaled negative 2 is here. So 0 equals x plus 2, x minus 4. Okay? So then solving that one gives me x equals negative 2. Solving that one gives me x equals 4. So I'm going to put them as coordinates. Negative 2, 0, and 4, 0. Okay? And last but not least, example 4. So let's take a look. Is it concave up or concave down? The a value is not there, so it's 1, so it has to be positive, so it concaves up, which means there's a minimum. Okay? So let's find the vertex. Because this is in vertex form. The h, what's the h? The h is here, but we do the opposite of it. The k is here, so that's negative 4. We keep the same. So the vertex is negative 4, negative 4. So let's put that in. And then we know the axis of symmetry is just the x value. 4 things we know quickly. And now let's do the work. All right, so now we got to do all our math work. So we're going to multiply this out. X plus 4, x plus 4 minus 4. So multiply this out. Now, I'm going to use a different color to show it again. X times x is x squared. X times 4 is plus 4x. 4 times x is plus 4x. And 4 times 4 is plus 16. And don't forget that minus 4. So then if I simplify, x squared plus 8x plus 12. Okay? So the y-intercept is 0, what? 12. Good. And now we have to set this equal to 0. and factor. We have 1 and 12. That's 1 and 12 when we multiply. 2 and 6, 3 and 4. So the signs are the same. They're both positive. Which pair give you 8? Right there. X plus 2, x plus 6. So solve. X plus 2 equals 0. And then x plus 6 equals 0. And so our roots are, let's write them as coordinates this time. -2, 0, and -6, 0. Okay? Those are your notes. If you follow these examples over and over again, you're going to do fine.